Good evening, guys. Welcome to a special edition of the Drop Zone. It's a Bash in Berlin preview show, and I've got a full house tonight. So let me start by introducing my wonderful panel. George, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Thank you. How are you?
Yep, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Good to have you on again.
Cheers.
And Jake, welcome back. How you doing, mate? It's been a while.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, it's been a while. Been back in the grind of things.
Excellent. And Carl, great to have you back again. How are you?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Thanks for having me on. Much appreciated.
Wicked. And Adam, always a regular. Nice to see you back again.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for having me as always. Good to be here.
And Tariq, how you doing, pal?
I'm good, thank you. Looking forward to this next hour and a half of the show.
Excellent. That's what we'd like to hear. And Tony, how are you?
Yeah, I'm great, mate. You?
Yeah, not too bad, mate.
Good.
And Craig, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm all good. Thank you, mate. Glad to be here. Looking forward to a good show.
Excellent.
You was going to forget him.
Who, Craig?
Yeah.
You can't forget the longest reigning two-time
you had to start.
TLC prediction champion, pal. Never.
Thanks for coming, George. See you later. Just say a couple of good evenings in the chat. We have El Smuggo's in, the All Sports Bar Cafe. Triple H, bow down to him. Thank you for this.
Hello,
How you doing?
whilst he's chilling in the hot tub.
Yeah. And we also have our number one regular here, Mr. Tom, as well. How you doing? And we also got, as well, we're streaming on the Mr. Arsenal podcast tonight as well. How you doing, Ryan? So let's get into it. We've got a lot to talk about. So we'll kick things off with SmackDown. And Craig, I'll start with you. We opened up the show with Cody Rhodes on the Grayson Waller effect. Austin Theory was literally just posing in the back, and which led on to a match. How do you feel the segment was, mate?
It was all right. It was nothing amazing. It kind of gave us what it needed to. KO obviously coming out annoyed. I did think there might have been another moment when he was holding the belt. You know, I don't know if they're teasing it. I don't know if it's going to happen or whether they're just teasing it for it to be nothing and get people thinking. But yeah, it was an all right segment. The match weren't too bad. But yeah, it was nothing, you know, amazing, was it?
No, it's pretty standard Cody Rhodes segment, isn't it, of late? Is anybody else got any thoughts on feelings on the segment? How it goes, how it was? Was it bland? Is this enough for Cody?
I did enjoy when Grayson Waller kept sort of stopping him do his catchphrases and that. Like, okay, what do you want to talk about? Yeah, forget that. That was a nice little way of getting heat, I think. It's very sort of brother love, do you know what I mean? Sort of interrupting and just kind of annoying him in the crowd. That was pretty cool. I like that.
I thought it was silly. It was just that silliness that Grayson Waller had, which was funny. But it also built up the video, the exhibits of Kevin Owens turning on people, and also Cody sort of implying that Grayson Waller was having a go at, well, he was going to turn on Theory or using him. So it was good because it was silly, but it brought out two different storylines in the one little segment.
And then that set up the match for later, which we'll come on to. And then, Tony, we had our first match of the night. We had LA Knight defending the United States title against Santos Escobar. Before the bell, the referee kicked them all out, didn't she? How do you feel the match went? And how do you feel LA Knight's doing since he's got the belt? Some could say he's probably doing a lot better than people would think or thought.
I mean, yeah, it was a good match. I quite enjoy watching LA Knight now, if I'm being honest. He won me over. And I think, obviously, with Santos as well, Santos is a good wrestler. I mean, the match chemistry, everything they did, it worked really well. The match was good. I think LA Knight done a jump in where he was on the rope and then jumped onto the top rope and then done a move off. I can't remember exactly what it was, but that was really good. But yeah, I think his title reign is I'd actually say that his title reign's probably been better than, shall we say, the Universal Champion. Yeah, I would say that he's built it up, and then obviously it leads to Bash in Berlin, where we've got what we've got. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it. It was good.
And Tariq, just coming on to this week's SmackDown, we'll jump ahead a bit. He's opened up a open challenge, hasn't he, for this week's SmackDown? Who do you think likely to answer the call?
Hopefully, John Cena, but it'd probably be someone from NXT. But it'd be good to see John Cena have a go maybe John Cena losing, it would sort of validate LA Knight's title credentials straight away.
Does anybody else on the panel have any thoughts who might answer that challenge?
I just thought maybe Ludwig Kaiser, just because he's, he's Berlin and he's German, just simply because of that. I know he's, on Raw or whatever, so maybe that's not allowed. But yeah, just throwing that one out there rather than an actual prediction or anything. I'm not sure. I don't really know who it means. Cena's a decent shout, and a couple of people have said that now. That'd be interesting to see.
And Mr. Tom reckons he'd prefer if it was Joe Hendry. We'll come on to him a bit later. I can't use the video more than once in case we get banned, so we'll save that. Tariq, just going over to you on the next match, we had the women's match, didn't we? It was Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Naomi. They defeated Unholy Union and Blair Davenport. How do you think this storyline's going? And could you see, obviously, don't give away your prediction yet, but could you give a little wink if you think maybe the title might change hands at the weekend?
Not saying nothing, but the match was one of them, like, get them on the show and have that six women match, which I think it more sort of like highlighted Naomi's skills rather than the others. Jade had a bit where she's still green, but she's got that, the hot tag move and then a couple of power moves, which she's good for. But it was mainly, it seemed like the Blair Davenport and Naomi feud was getting over more in that match than the other tag team one.
Yeah. No, so just reading the comment there from Mr. Tom.
He's not wrong, is he?
No, he's not.
No.
And then Adam, we had a promo next. We had old Solo, the Mafia, Sokoa, come out, and it was gloating about the attack on Roman, but we'll never see him again. Are they making him the proper bad guy in this storyline, do you feel? Or do you feel this Jacob Fatu might overtake him in that role? Or do you feel is that the long-term plan?
So I don't know. I think at the moment they're just showing how, the bloodline is united and they are behind Solo. I thought it interesting when he sort of said to Jacob, give the title to Tonga, and he sort of said, well, yeah, okay, and gave him a hug. There was no, maybe there's like 1% tease of dissension about it. He kind of slightly hesitated, but first of all, I don't know, maybe it's because he's the de facto tribal chief, and maybe he's a de facto general manager. He can just make title switches on a whim if he wants to. I thought they might do some sort of freebird rule type thing, and I must admit, in the first instance, I was surprised it wasn't just Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga as the tag champs. That seemed to make more sense. Anyway, waffling away now, answering your question. Yes, I think they're building up Solo well. I think you've got to have this united bloodline, the bad line, as I call them. They've got to be united together for quite a while, even if they're going to have this feud with the good line. So I can't see any kind of usurping or dissension or anything like that in the next 6 months. But maybe after that, after they've kind of had the blow off with the good line, then maybe we'll see something between Solo and Jacob.
Does anybody else have any different thoughts on how the bloodline and obviously the good line will come to blows? Does anyone see anything different, or is it playing out how they think? Everyone on the same page, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wicked. Right, so next then we had the bloodline, them again, defending their tag team titles against the Street Profits, with obviously the bloodline eventually defending their titles. Was it, Carl, I'll go to you next. Was it bog standard that the bloodline will keep the titles for a while now just to make them a bit more relevant? Do they need the gold? And what's next for the Street Profits?
Street Profits are in a bit of limbo now because they've got away from the Hurt Business now. They've gone back to just being Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins again as the actual tag team. But it just felt like they got pushed into fighting the bloodline for the tag titles, and we kind of knew that they're not, these tag titles not going to go anywhere anytime soon. This could be another one of those lengthy runs where they don't get change hands until WrestleMania, depending who it is, maybe. So yeah, the titles stay on the tag team, but Tonga Loa, I mean, oh god, he just makes me wince every time I watch him wrestle. He's just not very well polished.
Yeah, no, Mr. Tom agrees with you. He's the worst, which in terms of what makes him the best. You could say. There we have also good evening to Mr. Russ Morgan as well into the chat. And I thought I saw G as well. We had G as well. How you doing? Thanks for joining us in tonight. Then we had the main event of the evening, didn't we? It was Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes versus A-Town Down Under. George, I'll go to you. How do you feel the match went? And then we saw at the end of the night, I'll skip to the end, Kevin Owens was holding on to the title, wasn't he? And it looked for a split second that he was going to clean Cody Rhodes' clock, wasn't he? He was literally looked like he was going to take him out. Do you feel it's coming? We might see it this week, or do you feel they're going to stay respectful?
Well, obviously the Cody Rhodes reign's been so exciting so far. So the match was alright. It is weird, but it's kind of a standard main event. I thought. That I think the only thing that really adds an interest to this is if Cody turns on Kevin. Like, I think why should that? Why would you have Kevin do that? I don't get the point. It's just repeating old stuff. Whereas try something different. Have Cody turn on Kevin. Cody turn on Kevin Owens. Bash of Berlin. That's what I think. And then they might make Cody Rhodes' reign a bit like something about it, really. Because I just think it's been boring, personally.
I agree. Does anybody else feel Kevin Owens maybe this week on SmackDown at least tax Cody, or does they feel it will stay respectful because they're friends?
Yeah,
I think it will stay respectful.
I think there'll be an incident though where they kind of have to be pulled apart or separated or something. It won't be a turn. It'll be a bit like there nearly was in the segment where they kind of bumped into each other. There'll be another thing like that, an accidental collision. They get frustrated with each other, and they'll be, how will they go into the match like that rather than one turning on the other?
Maybe SmackDown the week after the pay-per-view or the PLE. Maybe that's the one where the frustration comes in and Kevin then turns on the first SmackDown after.
Yeah. Does anybody enjoy the nice guy Kevin Owens?
I enjoy it.
Sometimes.
Listen, I enjoy Kevin Owens because he does come as the comedic goofball, but I do prefer the heel version of Kevin Owens because he's dangerous. He is dangerous as a heel. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Anybody want to say that they like the bad side more, or are we all in kind of agreement?
Yeah, I think
I'm
the bad
sort
side
of on the
him,
fence a bit. I think bit of both.
I like the bad side more.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree with George. The bad side when he was, in NXT, the feud with Sami Zayn, even when he answered John Cena's open challenge, just thought he's got that bit of aura, but the bad guy. But he is funny as well. Which on the other hand, he can play both characters well, can't he?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was your SmackDown. It was a pretty bog standard SmackDown. To be fair, it kind of flew past. So I'll go around and grab your ratings for the show. Craig, I'll start with you, mate.
I'm probably going to go 7.
Tony?
I'm going to go 6.
Tariq?
I agree with Tony. It was like, as a SmackDown fan, I wasn't too keen on it, so 6.
Adam?
Yeah, I think I'll go 7. It was kind of at the high end of acceptable, if that makes sense. It's perfectly fine, but no more than that.
Carl?
Yeah, I'll go solid 7. Nothing to really write home about, but nothing that fell off a cliff either. So, yeah.
Yeah. And Jake, I know you didn't watch it, but as we kind of catched you up briefly, what would you give it?
From the things I've seen on Twitter and Instagram and everything, I'll probably give it a 6 as well. 6, 7. Yeah.
And George, yourself?
I'd probably have to go 6. I was tempted at 5, but I'll go 6.
6. Brilliant. Thank you for no halves. You're learning.
That's the first time, isn't it?
That's the first time. I thought when he was humming an R in George, I thought he was going to throw a half in.
No, I did the half last week.
Yeah, you did, to be fair.
Change
So
man. New channel, new show, it'll change ratings and everything.
So we'll switch over now to Raw, and we opened, didn't we, with the Judgment Day and the LWO came down to ringside, which led into a match with the LWO, and then obviously Judgment Day getting the win. Dominic picking up the pinfall over his dad again. That's the second time now. I'll start with you, Jake, because we ain't heard from you yet. What did you feel about it, and the Rey Mysterio Dominic storyline? What do you make of it? Is it run its course, or is there still some legs to it? I know it's not the actual end goal for the Judgment Day, but it was just kind of seemed like it was thrown together.
I just think that they still haven't finished what they started at Mania. I think there's still like little bits of tensions between the two. I just think that they should sort out either, I know probably not too late, but that Bad Blood or something after, like either WrestleMania after or something like that.
Yep. And is anybody else, Craig? Do you feel Rey Mysterio, his career's winding down now? That's the second pinfall he's lost to his son. Do you feel this could be his last hurrah?
Yeah, I think at some point he's kind of realised that he's not got long left. So if he can kind of help put Dom over maybe and get more boos and hatred, because that seems to be what they're trying to do, make him more hated than he can already be. Yeah, I think him doing that only makes Dom look better, stronger. I don't know how much longer he's got left. I mean, he still looks good when he's wrestling, but I imagine he's not gonna do it for much longer, is he?
Then we're ready to retire. He needs to be backstage on a big stage. Yeah, could be.
Yeah, not a bad point.
That was my thinking as well. I think it'll be Mania where it'll be sort of like a mask or retirement sort of for Ray versus Dom's hair type thing, and it'd be good where Ray gets beaten by Dom and has to retire, and then Dom can use that as for a good couple of months. Use that as I retired my deadbeat dad.
Yeah,
yeah. Two weeks at the nail on the head there. Yeah, that we can see that happening.
And to be fair, like, the amount of shit Dom gets, he's actually a good in-ring performer. The heat he's got as well, where he can't even talk on the mic. Some wrestlers don't even get nothing, not a peep out of the fans. He's got it. So if they play him, use him well, I reckon he could be a big player as in years to come, definitely.
Yeah.
But are we all in agreement to keep him as a heel?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wicked. We do agree on some stuff, guys. We then had at the end of the match, didn't we? We had the Terror Twins come down, and we finally saw a Riptide, wasn't it? And also a South of Heaven. Made them look strong going into the PLE coming up. Well, we've got Raw as well. Again, no, we haven't. That was the last Raw, weren't it? So yeah, they're looking strong now going into the event. Any thoughts on? No, I can't ask you these questions because people don't want to give away their predictions there. So
Not a chance.
Right, so let's just go into the next match then. We had the PFC, I'm going to call them, not KFC, PFC, versus, who did they face? Let me double check, I can't remember. Damage Control, that was it, just the last two members of the Damage Control, with Zelina Vega making a return. Let's talk about Damage Control. I'll go to you, Tony. We're missing, obviously, Dakota Kai has now got an injury, a knee yet again. Asuka's been out with an injury. I know she's off her crutches now, and she could be due back any time. Do you think they just end Damage Control now and just go with Sane and Sky?
Yeah, I mean, they're really good wrestlers, and I think that when Dakota Kai and Asuka come back, then obviously there is still a story there that you can tell because they haven't turned on each other yet. They're only off with injuries. So if they put them back together for a good couple of months, then they could do a turn and then they can use it as a story. But they're in ring, like literally when I was just actually got on my notes here just to say that it was a great match. I really enjoyed it because the Damage Control, like LA Knight have, they've won me over the last couple of months. They're really good. They don't have a bad match in my opinion. But yeah, I can see when they come back, I could see them joining back in, and obviously, like I said, go on and then in a couple of months maybe break up and just develop a story that way. But no, they're definitely they'll still be part of it when they come back, I reckon.
And I know, Tariq, I'll go to you next because I know you're a big advocate for the women's side and stuff like that. You know, when we first started the shows, you were, you know, one of the guys proper promoting for single titles, as I'm sure we all have been, for the women's more single titles. What do you make of this Pure Fusion collective? Has it got legs? Is you know, the fans don't seem to be taking too well. They're too busy taking the piss out of the name. What do you make of them?
I think it's one where Baszler and Stark were a bit sort of directionless, and Sonya Deville coming back. I don't think she's a full-time active wrestler. Just the odd couple of times in. It's just going to be one of them. Like, let's get 3 wrestlers on the show, get them in a little feud, keep them going because they can't get rid of them because they've got worth. But it's just one of them where just chuck them together and then for a couple of months they'll get angry, turn on Sonya Deville, kick her out, and they'll be back to fighting tag team matches here or there. But it's a bit, I don't know, they just seem like they're stuck. Whichever faction they get to, they just lose. That's it, they lose and carry on. It's like the tag team version of Natalia. They're just there to bump up other teams at the moment.
Lim, I'm going to ask this question, and it might be a bit controversial. AEW have got trios championships, and there's a lot of 3-man teams in the WWE, 3-man women's teams as well. Could that potentially be something WWE could look at doing, or is that just a stupid idea?
Not a stupid idea, but I personally wouldn't do it. I think they're quite well set now with titles. You know, each show's got a world champion, a singles champion, a tag champion, a women's champion. There's the overall, you know, the cross-brand women's tag titles. I don't think they need more championships, and I don't like it in AEW. I think the waters get a bit muddy between trios and tag. Like, for example, if the Bloodline were the trios champions, and then, you know, whoever else were the tag champions, like New Day, you know, with this guy who's come with them now, do you know what I mean? It just gets a bit muddy, a bit unclear. So I just have a tag championship. Freebird rule can apply as and when, if there's 3 of you. But no, I wouldn't introduce another tag championship personally.
Cool.
I agree.
Yeah. Anybody
Yeah, I
else?
agree.
Anybody disagree or maybe have different thoughts towards it?
I don't think a trios championship would work in WWE. I generally don't.
Yeah, cool. I've got to ask the question for the content. Next, we had Drew McIntyre come down to the ring with the bracelet. That's more important than the championship. And then we had CM Punk sneak attacking from behind. I'll go to you, Carl. Is this the end of the feud, you reckon, at Bash in Berlin? Or have we got one more, possibly 2 more installments of this feud to come?
Hell no, there's a lot more to go down this pipeline. What we're going to see at Bash at Berlin is going to be crazy, absolutely crazy. I don't know if anyone has picked up this stat. I don't know if 90 has been revising this week or not. But both McIntyre and Punk have had 1 strap match each in WWE. Punk winning against Umaga, and McIntyre lost to Karrion Kross, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So they both know how to work a strap match. No, this is just more anger, more. I think Punk might get his bracelet back, but we'll talk more in the predictions about that. But no, there's more to go down this. This rivalry's not ending at Bash in Berlin, not by any stretch of the imagination.
Adam, do you feel maybe Drew McIntyre goes 2 up on Punk, or is this like the match that brings it to 1-1?
Believe it or not, I think Drew goes 2-0. I think, you know, the sensible kind of most, you know, Occam's razor, whatever that thing is, most likely is it gets to 1 each and they have a rubber match, a decider. But I don't know. I think it's going to be set up so Drew shows dominance. I think one of the things Punk will probably focus on in this stage of his career is elevating others to his level. You know, now obviously he's got to be careful that he can't lose every feud because otherwise his level is going to go too down, and, you know, getting a win over him won't mean anything. But I believe it or not, I think, it goes 2-0 Drew, and he shows, you know, a proper dominant win in the feud.
Yeah. Cool. Anybody feel any different?
No, it's going to go Hell in a Cell. It's got to go Hell in a Cell, and probably an AJ return.
Yeah. In Mr. Thomas year 2034, still it could be. It's got legs. So then I'll go into George next. We had obviously Jey Uso at last have a match. It's been weeks of just backstage segments. It was the number one, the first round, wasn't it, for the number one contenders, which they're going to go into a fatal four-way. He picked up the win against Karrion Kross and Kofi Kingston. Do you feel, George, that if he potentially gets the title, that he will have legs to run, or do you feel WWE might do him dirty and not give him the strap?
Unfortunately, as you all know, I'm a big Jay fan, backstage also. But I just don't think he'll win the title, unfortunately, because I think they're just waiting. But I don't know. I would like to see Braun Breaker versus Jey Uso. I think that would be a good match. I think he'll get to I think he'll get to Braun Breaker will probably beat him because I think obviously it's been mentioned on other shows what people think is going to happen with Jay. And a certain other wrestler that's joined a certain other wrestling company is not impressed with WWE's treatment of Jey Uso. So that might be one to keep an eye on as well, where Triple H reads publicly what's said. I don't know. That might change. That might change how what their plans are for Jey Uso.
Yeah, possibly. Does anybody on the panel feel Jey Uso will take the title if he is successful in that fatal four-way and against Braun Breaker?
No. I don't think so. There was a little comment I think Braun Breaker put on X. I can't remember what it was. I think it was something on the lines of his family is undefeated against the Uso family, and that will continue if you make it through the fatal four-way. I think it was something along those lines. What he said there, Braun said there, and it is actually factually true. The Uso family has never beaten the Breaker family in the entire generations of those two families. So,
be interesting to see where he goes. Obviously, if he doesn't win the title today, obviously, we're all thinking what's going to happen. He reunites with Jimmy, Roman, and the big guy Zilla, is it? The new one's come in if he is actually on Roman's tip side.
Sammy.
Yeah, on Sammy as well. They go for the tag titles. You never know.
Been with Sammy though, he's injured, isn't he?
Yeah, I've tried to look for information. There's no word on what the injury is or where, how long of a time scale he might be out for.
I don't see Sammy joining up with them now. I see it if it's going to be anyone, it'd be Zilla for me.
Yeah. He was at Raw backstage from what I've seen online. I'm not in the know as we've all seen this week. I'm sure we're going to see next couple of days.
He's also reigning world champion of an independent company at the minute. Yeah. So until he drops that title, he won't be making his appearance in WWE just yet.
Yeah,
you're only in the know when you go to the supermarket, mate.
Yeah, I didn't speak to Pete on the Morrison's counter.
Good old Pete.
Good old Pete. He was right though. And then Jake, we had Randy Orton. He gave a heartfelt segment. I feel playing up to the fans. He's going into enemy territory on Saturday. Good old Germany. It's tough, isn't it? Because I think all of us on here, would all of us say we would like to see Randy win it, or is anyone don't want to see it?
I wouldn't mind seeing it, but I don't think we will.
Yeah. But I just feel like obviously
not giving too much away.
Yeah, no one wants to give away predictions. Just to change these preview shows, don't we? But yeah, how did you feel, Jake? The promo was the fans now love singing his song. He's getting the adulation he's deserved. Like you said, it's took him 15 years to finally sing his song.
Yeah, the promo was good. It was a bit touching. As he's probably one of my favorite wrestlers, I would say. Growing up watching him. But I don't know if Tony will mention it later, but he has just signed more years on. I think it's 5 more years. I think he's had. Hopefully, I know he's probably not going to win at Bash Ballon because it's sort of on. I was going to say it is his hometown, but they do love him up there. So I think Gunther's going to win then.
Yeah.
But I think Randy Orton might win it after, either if it's like a rematch or something.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
Could be a good shout. Sorry? Oh, someone.
Yeah, it was me.
Go on, George.
Just a point, I don't see Gunther losing it anytime soon.
Yeah.
I just think every title he's held for a long time. Like, even if you go back to the NXT UK Championship, he held that a long time. Maybe it's a dream of mine. I'm just hoping Randy just takes the belt off of Cody. Like, I'm just waiting. Just do it, Randy. Listen to that voice in your head.
Let's do it. Punt him in the head.
And I'd like to see Randy do. I'd like to see that Randy Orton, that vicious one.
The vicious one.
I mean, that's like going back to what George said earlier. I mean, it might be a wild theory or whatever suggestion, but if we were to see Cody turn on Kevin, could that not lead to Randy coming to Owen, and we get that darker side of Randy? We get the heel turn of Cody, which might make him a bit more interesting. Might be a bit of a wild one, but you never know. Stranger things have happened.
Get you on creative writing.
Yeah.
Not that good, mate.
That's not as far fetched as it seems.
Yeah.
That really is. And we all agree that Cody Rhodes' title reign has been a little bit bland, a little bit vanilla in some sort of way. So maybe turning him heel might actually benefit him, and with Orton coming to Kevin Owens, it kind of does make. I mean, you still get babyface Randy Orton, but you could still get a more darker side of him when he knows that you've just attacked someone I really do care about. No, you ain't getting away with this.
Yeah,
and it can tie into the whole legacy back in the day as well.
Because I think we've talked about a babyface versus a babyface is just. No one wants that. So one of them's going to need to turn heel.
Yeah.
And Randy can be that darker side without turning heel. And from what I understand, the other company, Cody was a heel and it was pretty good from what I understand.
Yeah.
So why not have that in, WWE? Why not turn him? Because it's just a bit dull. Everyone is expecting the same sort of thing. They're bored by his promos. Why not turn him heel? Why not get him being booed?
And I think as well, like, I don't know when it was, but recently, but didn't The Undertaker on a podcast say Cody would be better as a heel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw something about that.
I know it's people can say, oh, it's just a podcast and it's his opinion, but how do you know that he's not dropping? Because obviously he's still there with WWE, but I don't think it's as far-fetched as it sounds.
With regards, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, just after, I think, Mania, they've made him rubbish, basically, as a champion.
The John Cena effect, doesn't he?
Yeah, just the John Cena effect. Like, the solo match, that was good, but it could have been better, that match. With this one coming up at Bash of Berlin, I just think that's just a waste of time. You could be focusing on more. Even though Kevin Owens is a good wrestler, like he's good at what he's doing, but I just think that they should have put a better person in.
Yeah.
I agree, but if it leads to this Cody heel turn, then we've got to sit here and be like, oh, okay, they had the plan, they had this whole. Because at the moment, it just feels like they've just chucked him in for the sake of it.
Yeah.
But if he have you got blinked 6 times for you?
I'm not blinking.
You could just say yes.
If it ends up being like that, because they could be the time to do it. Everyone's expecting friend feed friend, them to shake hands. They're teasing KO being the one to turn.
Yeah.
What if it's Cody? These aren't my predictions. I'm not giving anything away. But if Randy loses at Bash at Berlin, he's going to be in a mood enough as it is. Then his mate gets attacked by Cody. that could spark something. Maybe. Who knows?
Do you get extra points, Jonesy, if you call a Cody heel turn?
No extra points. I've got enough to work at.
that was worth a try.
Yeah. We then
Desperate for them points, isn't he?
Everyone wants these tag team titles. But yeah, no, we then had Braun Strowman versus Big Bronson Reed. It ended in a no contest. I didn't get any pictures, to be fair. That's because maybe it was a bit too brutal. But no, what did you make of it, Craig? Obviously the backstage part was pretty. It was pretty old school, wasn't it? The old parking day lot rules. It was.
It felt like I was playing one of the old like SmackDown or 2K, where you could take them out back, throw them into the railing, and batter their head off an ambulance and all that sort of thing. Yeah, it was proper old school. It felt good, the way they just went out and battered the hell out of each other. I mean, that looked like that did hurt a little bit when he's done him on the motor. He must have been feeling that. Jesus. Peter Griffin versus the Chief. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much when they went back out backstage. Yeah, I thought it was good. Look, they've not got much going on with Strowman at the minute. There was no need to make him look strong or big or whatever. I think the main focus was on making Bronson look bigger, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Looking stronger, looking tougher, and he's come away doing that, especially considering, Cole and Graves' reaction was, we understand that Bronson got up and just walked off, and just refused any help while, Braun's laying there coughing up his liver and kidney and God knows what else. So it was good. It makes Bronson look stronger. He seems to be a bit over at the minute. The fans enjoy what he seems to be doing by absolutely wiping people out week in, week out. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah. I think, Mr. Tom, I kind of agree with what he's saying there. Bronson Reed can't take a loss until Rollins returns. And he would book him to beat Rollins. Maybe a good shout there. Never know. But we'll see. Carl, we then went into the other number one contenders match, which Pete Dunne come out on top. But I think more than him winning, the main talking point was Xavier Woods' ring gear, which was all black and didn't match Kofi Kingston's. Is this obviously what we've been seeing with the Final Testament, the turn coming for Woods?
This is what we're seeing, and this is what we're going to eventually see probably in the next week or two. What I can't quite get my head around was the fact it was Xavier Woods who actually created the New Day, and yet he's going to be the one who's going to disband it all. I can understand why he's getting frustrated. He's got pissed off of the fact because Odyssey is in there, and he's just upset that he's taken over Big E's position, even though Big E hasn't wrestled for well over, I think well over for 18 months now, if not longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we can see this turn coming from a mile away. And as soon as I saw him in that ring gear, I'm like, yeah, it's going to be in the next week or two, and he will stab Kofi Kingston in the back. Not Odyssey, he will stab Kofi Kingston.
Yeah.
So I think not. I think that's what they're telegraphing. I think that's the way it's looking like it's going to go. But I think Big E returns, not necessarily as a wrestler, but he returns and does his Bret Hart when Owen and Bulldog are having a match. His big speech, it's us, blah, blah, blah. So I think Big E returns in the next few weeks and saves a New Day. And perhaps Odyssey Jones turns or whatever, and then Odyssey Jones gets his singles push.
I can see that.
Good swerve there.
Good swerve, to be fair. Get on the creative.
I can see that happening, like what Adam was saying.
That's the sort of thing Cultaholic. That's the sort of thing Cultaholic Wrestling would actually say. Put out a little feeler like that out there. As I said, it's not far fetched, but I just think we're all being drawn to the obvious thing, what's going to happen. But it's always nice to have a detour to say, no, actually, this could happen instead, and really put us off our game.
Yeah, true. And sorry, George, what was that? Did you?
No, it wouldn't be the first time WWE done that, though, would it? So,
yeah, no.
But yeah, I just don't see what would the point be. There's more to that story this big comes back, like Adam was saying, he hasn't got to come back in a wrestling capacity because he's around, obviously, because he does the pre-show, or is that what they call it these days? Sorry,
the 3-hour pre-show.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I think they might be trying to get people to think, oh no, he's going to turn, and then it goes the other way.
Yeah, good shout. And then our main event, which leads us into Craig's Wyatt 6 fix.
Yeah, so we had the much anticipated, shall we say, match between Heldy and Chad. The ring entrance for me was both amazing, emotional, like, it just brought back all the feels, seeing him come out. I wasn't gone completely, but when he got in that ring and he was spinning, with the lantern, I was just like, Jesus Christ, it's Bray. And then you have to sort of realise, oh no, actually, no, it's not. I thought it was a pretty good match. The little throwback on the turnbuckle, throwing back, I don't want it to be like he's copying Bray week in, week out, because obviously we saw Gacy do it, but on the, it's just past the year anniversary of Bray, so I'm willing to, accept that it was a nice little, but I don't want it, I don't want it to be like their copy. I want them to sort of make himself, not be copying every single week. But I thought it was a good match. Tarek, what did you make of the match? Was it good? Where do you see it going from here? Do you see the feud sort of continuing?
I sort of think that it was a good match, but I thought with Howdy they should have made him a bit stronger, where he gets more offense in and he beats Chad not easily, but a bit quicker. I think like Chad getting a couple of blows in, getting in the ankle lock and so on, it sort of made Howdy a bit vulnerable, like he could lose. We know he's not going to lose, but it was that you thought, is he going to tap or isn't he? But with Chad Gable, he's a good wrestler, so you can't really have that 2-minute squash match. I think the thing at the end was funny, where they were having the scrap and Ivy Nile jumped on Rowan's back, and he was still beating up.
He just continued as if nothing was happening. Yeah.
Mm. That was, I think what happened probably be a mixed tag match there somewhere. Nikki Cross will get involved. It'll be Rowan and Ivy and that sort of thing. And Howdy will still fight with Chad Gable for a while until he probably goes to Judgment Day and fights them.
Good shout. Good shout. That brings me to my first picture. Obviously, there was a lot of talk about Uncle Howdy's in-ring attire. Some people weren't happy with the mask. Some people prefer the dreadlocks and not the hair straightener length straight hair. Obviously, we had the gauntlet, which was made from a Fiend outfit, which I felt was a nice little touch. A lot of people are talking about the star on his left knee. People are saying it's obviously a throwback to when he was with WWE before. I believe he had a star on his wrestling gear. Other people are saying it's a reference to all of like the videos and messages we got before about Bray being the North Star. So, take from it what you will. Carl, what do you make of the mask, the outfit? Do you like the hair? Would you prefer to see something different?
If Uncle Howdy was portrayed as Bray Wyatt in this match, I think it would be a little bit watered down in a way. I think for characters, you don't want them to look samey, if that makes sense. Yeah. I'm fine with him having the long white hair, because I believe that was his actual style when Uncle Howdy was first introduced.
With the top hat
and it kind of just works. And as well as the green face mask, I prefer the black or the grey one. Gives it a little bit more of a sinister touch to it. I haven't read online regarding of the star on his on his knee and so on, so I can't really get into too much detail. But I always feel like if you try and copy a wrestler's attire, it just doesn't feel as good as the original. So I think they've pulling them away and actually think doing something, adding little touches for Bray's year anniversary.
Yeah.
That is a nice touch. But I think in the next time we see Uncle Howdy, we're probably going to see something more his style. You'd like to think anyway.
Yeah, no, good shout. I agree. I mean, obviously beforehand, earlier in the show, we had the promo video. I believe that earlier in the week they sent out a tweet which had some scrambled up words. I believe if you unscrambled it, it said remove the scale from your eyes, which is what he mentioned in the promo video, talking about Chad Gable. I wanted to talk about this image though, because it's the first time from all the promo videos where they've shown the Pluto symbol and the Nightbird symbol upside down. It could be nothing. It could mean absolutely nothing, but we know from previous videos and teasers that there's a lot of meaning behind what they do. There's a lot of talking about how it might symbolize that the Nightbird has finally walked through the door. Could that be Alexa? Or could it be somebody else? Tony, as your go-to Alexa expert, just your thoughts. Do you think it could mean something? Do you think it means nothing? Do you see Alexa coming back? I know in the WhatsApp group you like to put it every single week, but do you genuinely feel that we are going to get this 6th member, and will it be Alexa? Could it be somebody else?
I mean, we will get the 6th member. It will happen. I would like to think it would be her, pure and simply because of her links to Bray, and I just think it would be quite a nice touch for WWE to do, because she's always said that she enjoyed working with him. She was very close to him, and I think that but I've not seen much of the actual videos and the things, so I can't actually comment about that. But in terms of Alexa, no, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it could mean absolutely nothing, but it's just interesting at this point of the story that we're getting of the Wyatt Six, that it's the first time they've showed it upside down. So it could just be the way that the video was. They like to sort of put the static lines and put things, distorted. It could mean absolutely nothing, but
I just found the Ghostbusters logo upside down. Ghostbusters logo being buried on a hill.
I was going to
symbolize this. They killed the Ghostbusters franchise.
I was going to say that because I saw the cross up the top there. Thought, does that symbolize a death of some kind, or does it symbolize a rebirth? The thing is with when Bray Wyatt obviously done this, obviously now with the Wyatt Six doing it. It always keeps you guessing, or keeps you second guessing. It's a bit like watching a Saw. It's a bit like watching the horror film Saw. You think you know what's happening, and then all of a sudden they completely flip the switch. And you're like, oh crap, we didn't see that coming. Yeah, it's basically that sort of psychological twist that no one really expects.
And we could literally be talking about it for weeks and it's nothing, or we could be talking about it for weeks, nothing happens, and then a month later, we were talking about that about 2 months ago. It's finally happened, so it's nice. It keeps you on your toes. The promo videos are interesting. I think the promo video this week was really, really good. We got that sort of gentle sort of bow side, but then the overlay of the Howdy voice. I enjoyed the promo this week. I enjoyed the match. I thought it was a good match. I do agree with Tarek to some extent. Like, they could have made him look a bit more stronger, but at the same time, you're not going to beat Chad Gable in 2 minutes. Because he's very technically gifted. He's a good wrestler. But yeah, overall, I think what we're seeing from the Wyatt Six is definitely not the same as what we're seeing from Cody. I think it's even better than what we're seeing from the Bloodline until we see maybe more of, you know, Roman and them all coming together. But I think the direction of the Wyatt Six at the minute is looking good. So yeah, that concludes my weekly fix.
Cheers, Craig. Thank you for that. So I'll just run around. I'll get your Raw review rating. What did you think, Craig?
You going with me for?
Yeah, I'll start with you
Oh,
first.
sorry, mate.
That's all right.
I would probably give it 9.
No?
I thought, you know, it was the old school feel, the entrance from Bray. See, I'm doing it again, from Bo. You know, it just kind of brought back feels and whatever. So I think that's the only reason I'd give it a 9, because I was assuming I'd probably give it an 8 if it wasn't for that old school feel and the entrance.
Wicked. Tony?
8. I'll give it an 8.
Yeah. Tariq?
I'd give it an 8 as well for a go home show. It
Yeah.
was decent, so an 8.
Adam?
Yeah, likewise, 8, to say just the kind of a level above, better than average, if that makes sense. So one level above what SmackDown was, which isn't a knock on SmackDown. SmackDown was pretty decent. This was more than pretty decent. So yeah, 8 out of 10.
Cool. Carl?
Yeah, I say 8 out of 10. I was originally going to say 7. Thought it was solid, but what's tipped me in the favor, and no one brought this up during the Mysterio segment, was the fact that Rey Mysterio took an absolute dig at Dominic by turning around and saying, at least when you was referee, at least one of you had a set, and it wasn't you. That I thought, yep, thank you. So that tops up to an 8 for me. So
Cool. Jake?
I would say an 8. It definitely was better than SmackDown, for sure. But hopefully this one would be just before Bash of Berlin.
Cool. George?
I'm going to go for 9 because of the Wyatt segment.
Wicked. No worries. So that was your Raw and SmackDown, and now Tariq is going to give us a roundup of NXT.
Right, so NXT last night, it was actually taped last week because they've got the No Mercy pay-per-view on Sunday. So apologies in advance, Mr. Tom. I'm going to skip a couple of matches which don't have any relevance to No Mercy. So we had first match, it was a women's tag match. Fatal Influence, who I mentioned last week, were the 3 group. They're like the pure fusion team in NXT. So they're quite good and trying to fight against other people who haven't been in long, and they fought against Metaphors, Lash Legend, and the other girl, I can't remember her name. It was a really good match, and with that match, the Fatal Influence won, which they had to, and their finishers, the meet in the middle sort of thing, like the DIY have got, so they've got good potential for the future. Then we had a sit-down interview with Jada Parker, who's fighting next week with Roxanne Perez, as the picture shows. Jada said she was a former soccer player, as they call it, who signed with WWE last year, and the dreams were to be a women's champion. And Roxanne came out and interrupted, said she's got the same boring story which Lola Vias had, Thea Hale had, and all her challengers, so they'll all end up disappointed. And Parker got really annoyed and was like, I'm going to slap the taste out your mouth, which she then did, which was good. But it's one of them good feud. It's them feuds where it's going to be a one-time match only for Jada Parker. And if you've not seen Roxanne Perez, she's really tiny, but with her being a prodigy of Booker T, they are really throwing the strap on her, and she's going to go to the moon. Then we had the North American champion Kelani Jordan in a match, a surprise opponent, which her opponent Wendy Chu chose. And I know most of you guys don't watch other wrestling shows, but it was Rosemary from TNA. She was a dickhead.
I lost it when I saw it. I was like, no, seriously?
I did think you'd love it, Carl. But yeah, she came in, and it thought it'd be a good long match, but I think it was just like a it was a 4 or 5 minute quick showing, and she lost the match. And I think it then, just to get Wendy Chu that heat on her, she put Kalani Jordan in a rear naked choke at the end to put her to sleep. So it was just expanding the story, but they sort of messed up on Rosemary's sort of coming in, because that would have been good as part of the TNA thing. Then they had a segment in the Chase U classroom in there with all their students. So the Ridge Holland was giving a speech of how he's found his family and how he'll always have their back. But Axiom and Fraser, the former champions, came in who said that they are a better team than them. So what they'll do is they'll end up getting the titles back next time round. And fun fact is, Fraser, who's at the other team, he was rejected from Chase U. So even Chase U said they're an inclusive of everyone. They rejected him for whatever reason. So it was a good skit to have. And I think it might be one where Axiom and Fraser, they're good guys, but I think they'll turn heel in the No Mercy. Then we had what was a face-off in the ring. It's the old MSK, which was Wesley and Zach Wentz from TNA. And it was more like to get that match over and asking why did Wes turn on him after 8 years of friendship. So it brought in different bits of what was going on. So Zach was saying that when they were at NXT a few years ago, they were tag team champions. But Zach blew it all because he was known as Nash Carter. But then he got fired from WWE because he had a domestic abuse case going on, and he put a picture on social media which his missus posted, which wasn't really flattering. So he got sacked and left Wesley on his own. So he was like a lost soul for a while. So Wes sort of said it's not 2022 anymore, and he's on a different level. So he said he's a WWE superstar, Zach's a TNA wrestler, and WWE is better than TNA. So they've got that thing where WWE are saying, we've got that partnership, but we're better than you on the show. So that's a good promo, which is on the level of, I know Mossy don't watch NXT, but when Carmelo Hayes was in there, when he turned on Trick Williams, their feud was exactly like this. It was a proper betrayal, and it should be a really good one. So I know if you don't watch NXT, but if you did, that would be a good match to watch at No Mercy. It'll be, I'm guessing, half an hour moves, super kicks, high flying, so it'd be a really good one to watch. Then we got a segment in Tony D'Angelo's favourite restaurant where Obafemi, the North American champion, came and sat down in his favourite table. And as you can see from the picture, Tony D'Angelo is like the Don of NXT. He thinks he's the godfather. So it was really good to watch. And what they were saying is they were on about respect, and like they're both having disrespect for each other. So it was like, you're the Don of NXT, but all of a sudden I'm the ruler of NXT. So they've got that thing where it's two big guys fighting each other, and when they have a match at No Mercy, it's going to be a fantastic fight. But it'll be one of them ones where it'll show sort of like not Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed's match. It'll be like that, but in the ring, and it'll be heavy hitting. But I can't see Obafemi losing. He's a really good champ, and he's, like I said last week, he's massive, and he's what they hoped almost would have been.
Yeah.
But he's like that, so he's got good. He's athletic as well, so it's one where I can see him in the nearby future making the main roster and being a big star there, like a big monster.
He's an Omos that can actually move.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, wow. And then we came to the main event, which was a Joe Hendry concert.
Wow. We know what we got to do.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
There we go.
I left the sound off again.
Great, you got to listen to it. But anyway, he came to the ring and he had red carpet with a guitar. So it was like the same feel as The Rock had when he had his legendary concert, the Vicky Guerrero one.
Yeah.
And he had that feel towards it when he was in the ring. I thought he'd carry on, it'd be on that level. What he did is hyped up his title match to say that he's a TNA wrestler coming in and now he's going to beat the champ. So he played a song like you see on the screen there about Ethan Page used to work out in his underwear and do bicep curls and so on. So he made a concert about Ethan sucks, believe in Joe, and tell Ethan to put on some clothes. I'm not going to sing it because my voice is crap. But it was really funny because the crowd sang along with it for a good few minutes with him while he was doing it. But then Ethan, as you expect, interrupted and was annoyed by it. But what's funny, it sort of clicked on. It's like where the fans loved the song. And during his whole speech, they were just singing a song, which was brilliant to see. And Ethan sort of said that Hendry is an NXT star, but Ethan is the star of NXT, so there's no way he's going to beat Ethan Page for the title come No Mercy. And that brought down the general manager of NXT, which is Ava, who's The Rock's daughter. And she said that there's been some issue with Ethan Page and referees. He's not been good with referees. So they've got a special referee for this match, which ended up being Trick Williams, who's got a feud with Ethan Page. So he came down, and what Page then decided to do is try to hit Joe Hendry with the title. But as what happens in main events before a PLE, Joe Hendry put him down with what's his standing ovation finisher, which is that choke slam on the sort of screen. And then Joe Hendry paused with the title, and he was doing his little waving side to side like he does in his video. And Trick Williams was dancing along with it, which was good. But it's one of them ones where you sort of think, he's not going to win the title. If you pick it up, you're not going to win it. And then after that, when they were celebrating, they showed Pete Dunne stood on the ring bit, and he was watching, and they turned and said, because he's got this issue with Trick Williams, he's going to try to take Trick Williams out before the match or next Tuesday. So it's good. It's got a couple of storylines going here or there, which Joe Hendry's going to have a good match, which will be in that No Mercy. But like I said last week, that Ethan Page and Josh Alexander from TNA were partners. So I can see the TNA guy coming over to spoil it for Joe Hendry, which will then, Joe's not going to win the title. They love him, but he's not going to win the title. They won't put a title on the TNA guy. So I can sort of see it then going over to a tag match between Trick and Hendry versus Ethan Page and Josh Alexander, and then Pete Dunne getting involved as well. Yeah. But that was the NXT for this week. It was solid. It was like a solid 6 or 7 out of 10. But the thing is, it was taped last week and it got No Mercy. So it's just like, let's get to No Mercy, just build a little bit storylines, and then refresh after No Mercy.
Tariq, can I just say something quickly? So you spoke about how, oh God, who was he feuding on that Slammiversary show? Josh Alexander. Yes. Yeah, Josh Alexander. So if anybody had watched Slammiversary, you saw Alexander completely turn heel and completely decimate Joe Hendry in that Slammiversary scramble, or a six-man elimination match, whatever.
Yeah.
So that is probably not a bad shout to actually say Josh Alexander could actually come in and cost Joe Hendry, because that rivalry between him and TNA hasn't gone away. So that just adds another element towards it. So I can probably see how that could work.
Yeah, it will work. I think it'll work, and the partnership with NXT and TNA is working really well. And even some wrestlers from NXT are going over to TNA as well. So it's good. And I think it's just like a pre-show to sort of say, right, it works for NXT, so why not TNA working with the main roster as well, working together?
Maybe that can lead towards World Collide, because they are starting that again, aren't they? But they could do it with, Impact and TNA and NXT.
Yeah, and I think what it is they've got to get Joe Hendry as a champ, like Mr. Tom put.
Yeah, where was it? Bound for Glory.
and the moon's proper. They strap the rocket on him, so it's like going like Cameron Grimes used to say, he's going to the moon.
To the moon and back.
Exactly. And that's the NXT review.
Cheers. Thank you very much, Tariq.
You're welcome.
Brilliant. Let's turn our attention back to this weekend's PLE, like we've mentioned now, Bash in Berlin. I'm just going to run around with you guys. I'll start with you, George. I'll go with you for the, we've got the main event, Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens. Just your quick thoughts on the match, mate.
I can't wait. I'm
struggling. I'm
excited,
struggling if you're actually being honest or that is sarcasm. I'm not quite sure.
It's both.
I'm being honest. Yeah, I think it'll just be standard. I think we all know who's going to win next. So, you said you wanted
talking about, mate.
Yeah. Craig, I'll go over to you next. We've got the World Heavyweight title, like we've mentioned, Gunther, Randy Orton. I'm not going to ask you who wins because you're my tag team partner and I want the belt as well.
Yeah, we'll discuss that at a later date, mate.
Yeah. So just your thoughts on the match. Should be a good match?
Yeah, I think it's got the potential. The match they had in the King of the Ring final was a decent match. So I think it's got the potential to be a really, really good match. I felt that Randy took Gunther to the limit. They both made, not that they need to both be made to look better, but they both complemented each other really, really well in the ring. So yeah, I think it's definitely going to be up there. I'm not calling match of the night because we've done this before and it's gone horribly wrong. But yeah, I think it's going to be a really good match.
Cool. And Adam, I'll go to you with this next one: the Terror Twins versus Dom and Liv. Obviously, don't give away your prediction. Potential for a good match, or just maybe a bog standard win for who we think who's gonna win. I don't want to, to say.
So I think it'll be a good match in as much as there's a lot of emotion in there. It'll be, the crowd will be behind it. It'll be exciting. I don't know if it'll be 5-star catch as catch can chain wrestling clinic as such. Not that, they're all perfectly capable wrestlers in there, don't get me wrong, so it'll be fine from that point of view. But it'll be the emotion behind it. I don't know if it'll be a bulk standard win. I know who obviously I think is going to win, but I think it's going to be very exciting, very entertaining. I think the crowd will be hot as fuck for it. Excuse me for swearing. So that it's probably the match I'm looking forward to the most for that reason. For the storyline behind it, the emotion behind it. Yeah, it's the match I'm the most looking forward to.
Same. And Carl, I'll go over to you with the next one. Obviously, we spoke about it a bit, the Punk and Drew match. Potential to be, as Sheamus would put it, a banger.
Are you just picking on me because of for McIntyre and Punk because I'm wearing a Scottish Warrior t-shirt? Is that what you're picking? I am wearing McIntyre's t-shirt, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm very, very excited for this match. I love a match with a very extreme rule type of stipulation because we know it can get gnarly at times. Yeah. I'm really, really looking forward to this fight. As I said, everyone will have their predictions on who takes what, but I just think this rivalry, it's got to extend that little bit more. You can't just end it like this. I really don't think you can.
No, 100%. And Jake, just over to you on the last match, the women tag team titles versus Belair and Cargill. Do you potentially see the turn happening here?
I think there might be a bit of tension. Maybe like a little argument that possibly Naomi comes in and sorts it out. But I think there would just be a bit of tension for that match, I reckon.
Cool. And as we said, guys, the tag team titles, the new titles will be on the line this weekend. So make sure you get your prediction into me by the latest Friday, please, if possible. Your team members, other than Kyle, unfortunately, whose team member left. But the next person will be your team member, but your predictions will count as two. So you could hold both belts as one person. And obviously, Craig, as the longest reign. You do it yourself. Go on.
As the longest reigning 2-time TRT prediction champion.
Never mentioned that at all.
That won't last.
That belt will be on the line as well.
I don't know who's mentioned it more, Tony about Bliss or Craig about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Definitely
I
at the
honestly don't know.
moment, Tony with Bliss. Definitely.
I don't think
But-
there's much
Only
in it.
just
But when I defend this weekend and potentially win the tag titles, it might be me saying it more than Tony.
But what happens? What happens if you lose it to a blind guy?
I mean, I can accept it, mate. I'd rather you be mute than blind because I'd have to not listen to the shit you'll give me. But it is what it is, mate. At the end of the day.
Right. And we're going to move on now to Jake, who's going to give us the On This Day. All yours, mate.
All right. On this day in 1989, it was the second ever SummerSlam. What featured matches with Dusty Rhodes, his first pay-per-view event, if I'm not mistaken. We had Ultimate Warrior defeating. I haven't done my research properly about this, but he was against for the Intercontinental title.
Rick Rude.
Rick Rude, that's the one. And then the main event was Hulk Hogan, and people might have to help me with this with the picture.
Sorry, mate, that was me. I was just replying. Sorry.
That's fine. I've actually forgotten his name, but against Zeus and Ultimate, yeah, and Randy Savage.
That's it, mate.
And yeah, I think Hulk Hogan won that match as well, which was pretty good. I think that led to more the rivalries with Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage. It made one of the best WrestleManias.
Yeah,
I think after that. But yeah,
wicked.
that's the one of the day.
Cheers. Thank you very much for that, Jake. I know you find it difficult, but well done, mate. You did well there. Thank you. It's much appreciated.
Yes, Jake.
So next is Tony's Ringside News.
Evening, everyone. First off tonight, I'm just going to add up with this. I noticed it on Raw, to be honest, and I've done a bit more digging online. So, as you'll notice, on the right-hand breast chest of Drew McIntyre, he had, well, you can't really see it that well on that picture, but he had some long numbers, which are actually coordinates on a map. And if you actually search them, it would take you to a place in Scotland where he comes from, and it locates you actually to a pub hotel that is potentially run by someone in his family, which was I just thought was quite a good stat, really. So, next on the news, you all might have seen it yesterday evening. It broke that WWE is looking to relocate the Performance Center. They're moving it from Orlando, Florida to Las Vegas, Nevada. It's been in Orlando since it was first built in July 2013, which then it replaced the WWE's developmental FCW. My only thought on this is that obviously Las Vegas is a UFC place, so obviously it's got to do with TKO and all that. So, but again, any more news on that, we will bring that to you. Last piece of news is that WWE held a live event, house show, whatever you want to call it, in Brussels. Cody Rhodes defeated AJ Styles in the main event to retain his title, obviously. After the match, Cody noticed there was a sign saying in the crowd, "Belgium wants a Pierre Lee." We know that he has been a strong advocate for pay-per-views in Mexico, Italy, and places like that. So could we potentially next year see another couple of PLEs over this side of Europe? I mean, Belgium is somewhere where they haven't been. Belgium, Holland, places like that. So again, be interesting to see. So on my last piece of, it's not really news. It's a bit of fun. Last week, the Bleachers Report released the top 25 WWE theme songs of all time. I just want to go around and ask you all your favourite theme song of all time, and I'm going to see if it's on this report, on this thing.
Right.
So I'm going to do it in order of the thing. So Jonesy?
Fandango.
Well, you'll be surprised that that's not actually on there.
Oh, what a shame.
Craig, I'll come back to you in a minute, Jonesy.
I think I'm going to stick with, obviously, we've taken our tag team name inspiration from them. I'm probably going to go with the New Age Outlaws.
Well, this is actually, that's not even on there either.
Oh, Jesus. 2 for 0.
Right.
Who made this list?
Yeah.
The Bleachers Report is not me.
Says it all, really.
Tarek, your go. What's your favourite?
My favourite is the Bryan Danielson one when he had in WWE, the Ride of the Valkyries.
Yeah.
That's not even in it.
That's like that.
Not in as well.
Oh my God. Go on, Adam, please.
Come on, Adam.
That's going to be in it. Come on.
The Undertaker.
Yes, that's number
Hey.
2.
There you go.
That's number 2.
Got to be Stone Cold, doesn't it?
It's probably it's on there because it takes so long to play, because it takes forever to get to the ring.
Yeah.
Carl, what's your favourite WWE theme?
Metalingus, which was performed by Alter Bridge, so Edge's theme song.
Yep, that's number 5. Yeah, nice. Jake?
I've got the actual name, but the song that Orton had before Voices when he was young.
Burning My Light.
Yeah, that one.
Yes, Randy Orton is 23.
But is it that one or is it?
Is it Voices or Burning My Light?
Well, I'm just going to give him that one. It says
Okay,
Randy Orton.
sorry.
It doesn't say what one.
I won't be mean. You can have it.
So with the Undertaker, it could have been a few, because I think he had about 3 or 4 different ones. Yeah, it could have been any of them. So, and then George.
I'll go for Seth Rollins one that he has now.
That's not even on there.
Is it Stone Cold? It's got
So
the
I'm
Stone
going to
Cold.
go back to Jonesy because Fandango I think was a bit of a funny one there. So
I'll go Triple H the game. Motorhead.
that's number 10.
Well, at least it's
Number
on there.
10. Again, it doesn't say which one. He's had a couple of bangers, as Seamus would say. So so I won't bore you with the whole 25. I'll post it in the group later and we can have a laugh.
I bet it's Adam Rose.
I'll start from.
That was my, if he was going to go to me, I was going to say NWO.
I'll go quickly from 10. I'll go from 10 up. So it was Triple H, CM Punk, Bret Hart, Batista, which was a good shout, The Rock, Edge's 5, Randy Savage's 4, Chris Jericho is number 3, Undertaker's number 2, and Stone Cold Steve Austin's number 1.
Of course.
Again, it doesn't say which version, but yeah, so just thought it'd be a bit of fun in the end of the news. So that's all from me.
Stone Cold had like 2 or 3 versions of a song, didn't he? Because one of them was performed by Disturbed, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He had an Alliance theme as well, didn't he?
He had the Alliance theme as well, yeah.
That Chris
Sorry,
Jericho. That Chris
Sorry,
Jericho.
Who's that, sorry? Who'd you say, Jericho?
Yeah, Jericho. Yeah, I wouldn't have had him that high.
Break the rules down, yeah. And sorry, Mr. Tom, we did miss your question there. Sorry, should have asked it. But no worries. I think that brings us to the end of a packed out show, guys. Thank you very much for all your segments, all your contributions, everyone in the chat as well. Like I say, we got the watch along this Saturday. Join us from around 8 o'clock. I am at the Arsenal game beforehand with George and a few others. So if the potential of me being pissed on stream is a high possibility.
You even getting on stream
There's a possibility.
is going to be the issue.
What do you
He did
mean?
it at WrestleMania. He did it at
What do you mean
WrestleMania
you're
after he
doing
went
this?
out for his brunch.
This
Yeah.
is very true.
It's
Yeah,
very
very
true.
true.
He's doing the stream from the Coronet.
Yeah. Yeah.
While
Please
doing
join us.
shots.
Yeah, well, shots. Please join us though if you're interested in jumping on a watch along. We'll be on from 8, so jump in and out as much as you want.
Yeah,
You don't have to stay for the whole duration of the event, or you can do. It's totally up to you. But yeah, I'll just run around and say good night to everyone. So George, thank you very much for coming on.
No worries. Thank you for having me again, mate.
No worries at all. And Jake, welcome back, mate. Great to have you back on.
Thanks for having me.
Excellent. And Carl, thank you very much. Always a pleasure.
As always, mate. As always.
Thank you very much. And Adam, thank you very much as well.
Cheers, Jonesy. Thanks, everyone. Great show.
And Tariq, brilliant on the segment tonight, mate. Thank you very much.
Thanks, and thanks for having me again.
Excellent. And Tony, thank you very much on the news and that.
No, yeah, thank you. Like you said last week, we're just a group of lads that love talking about wrestling. So, yeah, I really appreciate it.
Definitely. And Craig, thank you very much as well for your contribution tonight and your segments.
No worries, mate. Always a pleasure to be here. I enjoy chatting with every single one of you, and just chatting about footy, chatting about wrestling. wrong show. Shit. You know what I mean. Sorry. Yeah,
Jonesy.
Chatting to all of you.
Josie, one last thing I'll say. I don't think no one really cares about theme songs, but when I was watching the last pay-per-view SummerSlam and I heard that Basher Berlin's theme song, I'm into my rock and my metal music. A big shout out to Electric Callboy, German rock band, and also to Baby Metal, Japanese metal band. I've seen them at Download. They are absolutely brilliant. And for me personally, it's the best collaboration between Germany and Japan since the 1940s.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I listened to the song earlier today. It's actually not that bad, to be fair. There's been worse ones, let's face it. It could have been The Weeknd for the 100th time.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Just to say goodbye to a few guys in the chat. Connor, hey, thanks for coming in. Also got 2 Count Wrestling. Thanks, guys, for jumping in tonight. And drop us a follow. We'll follow back. And, hopefully we can have a crossover. Guys can come on our show. We come on yours. Be great to do some of that. And Mr. Tom, as always, good night, lads, as well. Just going to end tonight's show on a bit of sad news. Obviously, we lost Psycho Sid at the weekend and on Monday. So I thought it'd be fitting to end the show, with moments of just silence with him up there and just to send in our thoughts and prayers to his family, and he will truly be missed. But yeah, that's it for me, guys. We'll see you on Saturday. Good night, everyone.
Night.